Okay, so today we are reviewing how the process of long division and then applying it to decimals. On your warm-up that I asked you to do, the first number we call the dividend because it goes inside, and it's being divided by the second number, which is your divisor. Okay, I gave you this salmon colored sheet to help you if you don't know your multiplication facts very well. All right, so 9 will not go into 3. So I want you to put a 0 above it or an X just so you have something above every number to keep your numbers straight and neat. 9 goes into 35, then 3 times. 3 times 9 is 27. We put that under there and we subtract them. We get 8, and then as soon as you subtract, you have to look at this number. If this number is ever greater than your divisor or equal to, that means you didn't go up enough up here in your quotient. Okay, so but we're good. So we bring down our 1. 9 goes into 81 9 times. As soon as you put something up there, you multiply. 9 times 9 is 81. Subtract, and we're done. Okay. On the second one, 31 will not go into 8. It's too big, so you can put a 0 there or an X. 31 will go into 87, I'm guessing about 2 times. 3 will be too much, so I'm going to put a 2 directly above the 7. 2 times 31 is 62. Subtract, get 25. That is smaller than our divisor, so we're good. Bring down our 8. And now we have to figure out how many times 31 will go into 258. Probably about 8. Yep. So the 8 goes directly above this 8. We multiply. 248. Subtract. We get 10. And then in the past, sometimes you've written it as a remainder 10. But we're dealing with decimals now. We're going to change them to decimals. So a couple people in my earlier classes said the next step would be to add a 0. If we add a 0, then this is not 878 anymore, it's 8,708. So we have to add a decimal 0 to keep it 878. Put our decimal straight up, bring the 0 down. 31 will go into 103 times. 3 times 31 is 93, and we would just keep going with that process. But we're going to stop here. I just wanted to review the process. So down here, we're going to divide decimals by whole numbers, and we're going to estimate first. When we estimate, we want to be able to do it in our head easily, okay? And 2 is already a whole number, so I'm going to leave that number 2. But decimals are not easy to work with in our head, so we want to round, and it does round to 7. But 7 and 2 don't work well together because they're not compatible numbers. So we can either make it a 6, and 6 divided by 2 is 3, or we can make it an 8 because those 8 and 2 are compatible, and that's 4. So that's telling us that our answer should be somewhere between 3 and 4. Okay, so now we divide. 2 goes into 6 3 times. 3 times 2 is 6. Subtract. Bring down the 8. 2 will go into 8 4 times. 4 times 2 is 8. Subtract, we're done. Put our decimal point straight down, and our answer is 3.4, which is definitely between our estimated answers of 3 and 4. Okay. Let's skip down. Let's skip down and do number 5. Okay. 34 will not go into 6, so you can put an X or a 0. And it's going to go into 69 2 times, I believe. Yep. 2 times 34 is 68. Subtract, we get 1. Bring down the 9. 34 will not go into 19. And this is where I see students mess up sometimes. They say, oh, well, it won't go into 19, so let's bring down the other number. You can't bring down 2 numbers at a time. Okay, 34 will not go into 19, so we put a 0. It goes in 0 times. 2 decimals straight up. So 34 goes into 19 0 times. 0 times 34 is 0. Subtract, we get 19. Now we can bring down our 0 and take 34 into 190. I believe that's about as close as we can get. So we'll put a 5 up here. 5 times 34 is 170. Subtract, we get 20. Bring down the 4. And 34 now into 204. Oh no, that wasn't very smart. Let's try 6. Yep, it works perfectly. 6 times 34 is 204. And so there's our answer, 2 56 thousandths. Okay. On the back, why don't you try those, and we will talk about those in just a second.